To sleep with a bottle by the bed. Morning tasted like rust and regret. Bar stools knew my name better than friends. Nights bled into days without amends. I pawned my ring to chase that fire, burned my bridges, fed the liar. Mama cried in a kitchen light, my brother stopped calling out of spite. I watched my father's photograph fade, turn grace to ash in the choices I made. And the woman who wore my last name true packed up her prayers and walked on through. But the night runs out when the truth shows up, and a man can drown or choose to get up. I broke the chains that drank my blood, washed my soul in an honest flood. I took one step, then another three. Now the road looks back and lets me be. I lost my years to a poison sea, but I'm standing here by the grace of God. I'm free. I swept a glass where I used to fall, paid the tabs that had chained my soul. Told the barkeep, sir, this is goodbye. Watched a hard man nod with a softer eye. Went to the house I left in the rain, spoke to the rooms that remembered her name. No wedding pictures on the wall, just nail scar lines where we once stood tall. I fixed the hinge on the groaning door, sat with my guilt on the kitchen floor. I felt a whisper in the quiet dust, stand up son and keep your trust. Cause a heart can heal when a man tells truth, and a prayer sounds different when it's proved. I broke the chains that drank my blood, washed my soul in an honest flood. I took one step, then another three. Now the road looks back and lets me be. I lost my years to a poison sea, but I'm standing here by the grace of God. I'm free. I met her again at the edge of town. No rings, no vows, just truth laid down. I said I broke what I couldn't replace. I'm not asking you back, just a little grace. She looked at the man I'd failed to be and said, I don't want you, but I set you free. Those words fell warm like rain in June. Mercy can bloom in a barren dune. I broke the chains that drank my blood, washed my soul in an honest flood. I took one step, then another three. Now the road looks back and lets me be. I lost my years to a poison sea, but I'm standing here by the grace of God. I'm free. And no bottles bed, no liar's crown, no more nights to drag me down. If sorrow calls, it won't own me. I'll walk on strong, clean and free. Let the past turn back to dust. I found a life that I can trust. I paid the price, but here I'll be, head high, heart steady. By the grace of God, I'm free. He sat by the window, pen in his hand, wrinkled fingers shaking like a broken man. The ink ran dry, but the paint still bled for the words he wrote but never said. He'd stare at the name on the folded page. The son he never held, never saw his face. Just silence in rooms that should have had cries, and letters he hid behind weary eyes. Each word a prayer, a wound, a dream of what could have been, what he might have seen. A little boy riding through the open fields, a laugh, a touch, a soul to heal. But he ran from love, ran from the truth, thought he was too broken to give it to youth. So he locked his past in a box of regret, stacked with letters that he never sent. He wrote of birthdays, of nights he wept, of songs he heard, of promises kept. He poured his soul in 1,000 lines, but they never crossed that fragile line. These are the words that never found a voice, tales of sorrow, silence and choice. He wrote them all with shaking hands, a father's heart too proud to stand. But now these pages are all that remain of a man and his never spoken pain. He leaves them now not for tears or blame, but to say, son, I loved you just the same. Time wore him down like river to stone, a life half lived, mostly alone. The world forgot him, the seasons turned, but his soul still burned with what he earned. He'd picture a boy with the same sharp eyes, wondered if he looked at the same sky. He whispered prayers with a trembling breath before handing his soul to the arms of death. And in that box by the cedar bed lay everything he should have said, sealed in ink and sealed in pain, letters signed but never named. These are the words that never found a voice, tales of sorrow, silence and choice. He wrote them all with shaking hands, a father's heart too proud to stand. But now these pages are all that remain of a man and his never spoken pain. He leaves them now not for tears or blame, but to say, son, I loved you just the same. And if that boy ever reads one day, the tears on paper will light the way. Through every line his father pleads, forgive the silence, please believe. These are the words that never found a voice, but now they rise above the noise. A truth too heavy to ever pretend. He loved the boy he never held, right to the end. quiet house where love was hard to see, where a man spoke with his shoulders, not with what he'd say to me. My father's hands were weathered stone, his silence carved in steel. He taught me life with broken roads and bread he had to kneel. I swore I'd never be like him, so cold, so distant, rough. I swore my kids would know my heart, I'd always give it enough. But time's a mirror made of truth that never lies for long. You can outrun 1,000 things, but not the place you're from. I spent my youth with restless hands. I left that small town full. Said I'd be nothing like that man who never asked for more. But time is cruel and life is hard. It tests the strongest will. And every time I failed, I heard his voice inside me still. The lines he drew became my path, though I had called them chains. And every scar I hated once now carries my own name. I used to think he failed at life, too quiet to be proud. But now I hear his wisdom in the storms I face right now. You never know a man until you walk his broken miles, until you fight to feed a home and learn the weight of trials. I swore I'd never be my father, but here I am, I hear his voice. And every lesson, every burden, and every hard and silent choice. He wasn't weak, he wasn't bitter. He bore the pain and built a life. Now I know strength's a quiet river. And he was right almost every time. Now I've got children of my own who think I hold the sky. They don't yet see the cracks inside or all the nights I cry. I tuck them in and say the words I never heard before. But sometimes silence finds my throat and I become him more. I wish that I could tell that man the things I understand. That love was carved in sacrifice, that only time unmasks. He built a life from honest sweat, a fortress made of bread. And now the things I ran from most are what I give instead. If love survives through quiet hearts, then I was loved each day. I was just too young to hear the words he could not say. I swore I'd never be my father, but now I wear his weathered hands. And though I tried to walk the distance, I finally know the man he was. He never spoke of love or glory, he simply chose to stay and fight. And now I see his silent story, and he was right almost every time. Heaven keeps its gates for men who live with quiet pride. They save a place beside that man. One day I'll walk inside, and I'll say things I never said, and he'll forgive my pride. And I'll thank him for the strength he hid so deep inside. I swore I'd never be my father, but life revealed a deeper truth. The greatest men don't beg for honor. They build it slowly, nail by nail, beneath the roof. Now if I ever find my purpose, let it be carved in sacrifice. And if my children judge me someday, let them find me quietly right. Tried to break the flame inside, but it burned beneath the ash and pride. Every scar became a spark, every loss lit up the dark. He walked through storms, through graves and years, through whiskey nights and salted tears. And though the cold had marked his face, there still was light that time couldn't erase. He buried dreams beneath the dust, watched love decay and turn to rust. But when the wind called out his name, he rose again through smoke and flame. The past still whispers you should fall, but the man stands taller than it all. For pain may steal what hearts rely, but not the fire that wouldn't die. You can't drown what was born to burn. Even ashes know how to return. There's a fire that wouldn't die, through the storms beneath the sky. Every heartbreak, every cry, fed the flame that learned to rise. And when the world said its goodbye, he became the fire that wouldn't die. Lost his love, he lost his youth. He faced the mirror and found the truth. The eyes that stared were tight and warm, but still they gleamed with something warm. He whispered low, I ain't through yet. Life's not done with this old regret. He took his pain and set it high. A torch for souls too scared to try. You can't drown what was born to burn. Even ashes know how to return. There's a fire that wouldn't die, through the storms beneath the sky. Every heartbreak, every cry, fed the flame that learned to rise. And when the world said its goodbye, he became the fire that wouldn't die. And maybe that's what living means, to walk through hell and chase your dreams, to lose it all and still defy the fate that tells you not to try. For somewhere deep where hope runs dry, still burns the fire that wouldn't die. There's a fire that wouldn't die, even time can't say goodbye. Through the years, through pains disguised, the flame survives, it still replies. And when his story lights the sky, they'll remember he was a fire that wouldn't die. He was a fire that wouldn't die. telegram came on a Monday rain with ink that burned her hands. It said he died a hero's death fighting for foreign lands. She stared into the emptiness, the walls began to spin. Two children sleeping down the hall, she had to breathe for them. The farm still needed tending, the bills still came to call. The nights were colder than before, the world had grown so small. She wore his coat to feel his ghost, the scent of him still near, and whispered to the midnight wind, I'll fight for us right here. She learned to wield a hammer, she learned to plow the field. She learned that tears can fall like rain and still refuse to yield. The neighbors whispered, poor young girl, but she just bowed her head. They never saw the strength it takes to rise from what's been dead. She fixed the fence, she baked the bread, she held the world in line. She buried grief beneath her work and called it doing fine. Her hands grew rough, her eyes grew deep, her laughter slow and warm. But even broken women bloom when courage keeps them warm. And when the stars look down on her, they see a soldier too. For war don't end with rifles, it begins in what we do. She's fighting her own war tonight, no medals, no parade in sight, just two small hearts that call her name. Her husband gone, her soul aflame. Through every loss, through every scar, she stands her ground, the widow's war. The seasons pass like battlefields, her hair turned streaks of gray. Her children grew and left the house, but never walked away. They carried her in everything, the lessons and the pain. They built their lives from what she taught, that love outlasts the rain. And when they speak of heroes now, they never name the men. They say it's her who kept them fed and kept their hope from end. Her story's written not in blood, but in the strength she bore. The mother who still fights alone forever in her war. And though the world forgot his name, she never lost her own. She built a kingdom out of grief and ruled it all alone. She's fighting her own war tonight, no medals, no parade in sight, just two small hearts that call her name. Her husband gone, her soul aflame. Through every loss, through every scar, she stands her ground, the widow's war. The church bells ring on Sunday dawn, her tears now shine like glass. She whispers to the morning sun, we made it through at last. And somewhere in the heavens light, a soldier hears her cry and knows the love he left behind will never truly die. She fought a war without a gun, raised two souls beneath one sun. No monument, no grand applause, just strength that silence draws. And when her heart can fight no more, they'll write her name beside his door. Two hearts, one faith forevermore. The widow's war. lives where the sunrise leans over fields of gold, where life is built by honest hands and quiet hearts of old. Her laughter feels like Sunday rain on thirsty summer land. She moves with grace I've never known, like mercy in her hand. She reads the sky like scriptures and trusts the falling rain. She sees the good in everything, even a man in chains. But I was forged in dark roads where promises don't stay, and I still fight the kind of ghosts that never go away. She loves with patience, gentle light. She never asks for much. She'd rather hold a broken man than one afraid to trust. She told me I could stay with her, that I could heal in time. But men like me weren't born for peace. We bleed between the lines. I carry storms I never chose, scars no one else can see, a past that claws my soul at night and won't let go of me. I wish that I could be her home, her shelter from the rain, but I still walk with wounded steps through unforgiven pain. Love ain't a gift you give someone when you're still burning down. A broken man with shaking hands can't help her build a crown. She deserves a better man than me, someone stronger, someone free, a man who ain't had war inside, who knows how to stay and not just try. She needs a heart that doesn't bleed. Yeah, she deserves a better man than me. She held my face and wiped my tears the night I said goodbye. She didn't beg or break me down, she only asked me why. I told her she was made for love, that time won't tear apart. And I was just a tired soul with too much broken heart. I'd only dim the light in her, I'd only make her fall, and I would rather walk away than watch her lose it all. So I will love her from afar and let her spirit be, 'cause love is sometimes letting go, even if it cripples me. If hurting now means saving her from who I'll always be, then I will carry every wound and let her soul run free. She deserves a better man than me, someone stronger, someone free, a man who ain't at war inside, who knows how to stay and not just try. She needs a heart that doesn't bleed. Yeah, she deserves a better man than me. Maybe somewhere down the line, when I rebuild my soul, when time has carved a steady heart and made the broken whole, maybe then I'll find the road that leads back to her light. But until then I'll walk alone and face my storms each night. She deserves a better man than me, so I'll become who I trailer, with a bottle in my hand and the devil in my ear. My shadow was long, my soul was thin. Every mile I drove was a mile deeper in sin. I burned through jobs, I burned through friends, lost in a fight I didn't know how to end. Till one night I stood by the river in silence and saw my reflection beg me for repentance. I dug a grave with my own two hands under the moon in that wasted land. Tossed in a picture, a flask and my name, covered it up like burying shame. The wind cried loud, the trees stood still, as if the world paused for a man with a will. When I rose, I wasn't the same. Left the lies, the poison and the pain. I ain't born again by some preacher's song, but I burned the chains that held me wrong. This ain't a prayer, it's a reckoning cry for the man who chose to live, not die. The man I buried was me, in the dirt where I used to bleed. Left behind the ghosts and the blame. Rose up strong with a brand new name. You can haunt your past to break it free, but the man I buried was me. Now I drive with a purpose, hands on the wheel, got scars on my knuckles, but